All right, good morning, everybody. Hopefully, this is coming through. Been having some technical difficulties on my end from getting the camera to connect to streaming, but apparently it's working. There we go. Shed some light on the situation. Good morning. Happy Saturday to us all. Hopefully, your week was pain-free and you didn't lose any screws in the snow if you got snow. Uh, or if you're kind of down towards my neck of the woods, you didn't have any screws blow away in all the storms. Um, but good morning to everybody. Let's see, Dana, G Man, Rune International, Robert Patton, good morning. Lowell Forbes, you've got a little free time between jobs. Sucks that you have to work Saturdays. I'm so thankful that I work for a shop that doesn't believe in working on Saturdays most of the time. Anyway, Miko Wolf, good morning. S&M Lock and Key, loud and clear. Good to know. Newhouse Lock and Key, good morning. Pocket Women, happy Sunday morning, early Sunday morning for you. Let's see here. All right, cool. Um, yes, appreciate all the likes. Helps get the helps generate the views. Not that it generates anything for me, but it helps get information out there at least. Shows up in people's video feeds a little bit easier the more likes that there are. So I do appreciate that because then we can share what's what we figure out, what we learn. Um, Obviously, we're going to talk about this bad boy right here. Probably going to take it apart, put it back together. Um, I've done a few of these, talked about them a few times. Anyway, um, but this week was, I'm going to say it was pretty unremarkable, I guess. There wasn't anything out of the ordinary, nothing really new that I encountered. Did I did a bunch of residential stuff this week, which normally I get like the commercial stuff. Um, but this week it was actually more residential than it was anything else. Couple safes to service. Um, did a lockout. Thursday, I was the only one on the road, so I stayed busy. Didn't have any hitches in the get along though Thursday, which was nice. Put about, I don't know, probably about 100 miles on the truck Thursday though, just from going all over everywhere. Um, and yeah, so pretty good week. This coming week is going to be really busy. I have a few jobs, residential jobs lined up, a couple of them, and then the rest of it's going to be um, commercial and access control. Um, let's see, who else do we have here? Nate Godden, good morning. Anthony, good morning. Newhouse, you have a job at noon. Newhouse, what kind of job is it? Tell us. James Randolph, good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining. Kurt O, Lock and Key. Yes, you made it. Haven't really gotten cranked up yet. Secure Tech, good morning. Let's see. Lowell, you had a locked in job. I've had those before. It's yeah, those are always fun. Um, anyway, let's see here. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about the Schlage CO100. And y'all let me know if my video starts doing anything funky. Um, but I've talked a lot about these guys right here, the Trilogy Alarm Lock DL 2700, 2800, um, and how we normally replace these. You can see right there something that's not been torn all to crap. Normally we replace these because the keypads or the electronics fail and you can't service the electronics. And when we do a full replacement, we like to go with the Schlage CO100, which is what this is. And it's a standalone, offline keypad lock. It's comparable. In some regards, it's superior to the alarm lock. In other regards, it doesn't have some of the features. Price point's a little bit more, I think. Well, no, probably about the same as the alarm lock. But it's a standalone keypad. You enter your code, which can be programmed 3 to 8 digits, and it will unlock for you. You can put it into a passage mode using a code to where it remains unlocked for multiple entries back and forth. It's battery powered. Battery packs here. It'll store up to 100 different PIN codes. So in theory, you can assign a PIN code to each individual user, or if this is going into, say, a commercial building, then you can issue, say, a suite code. So if you have different office suites in a building, you could give each suite a different code to the door if you wanted to. That way, if that business moves out, you can just change or delete their suite code and leave everybody else's alone, instead of having to send out a big memo to everybody saying, hey, on such and such date, the code will change to, 456 instead of 123. You'll notice right here that there's no cylinder installed. It does have a key backup cylinder. Normally we order them less cylinder, saves about 25, 30 bucks on the price. And the reason why we order it less cylinder is we know the building that it's going into, and so we know what key system they have. So if it's going to a building that has all Sargent keys, say it's mastered on a Sargent keyway, then we can pop a Sargent cylinder in there. If they have Medico, we can put a Medico cylinder in there. It gives us flexibility. You should know going into this, to a job to install one of these, you should know what key system the building uses. And if you want to hear more about site surveys and knowing how to size up a job, listen to the Three Tumblers podcast. We have a recent episode on that. So listen to that while you're doing some work. Let's see here. Video's been lagging, jumping and freezing, glitchy, lagging. Okay. Let's see. It is pretty big, Pocket Women. But there's a reason for that. And I'll grab a couple examples of the reason for that. It was designed because, each of these locks have different bolt patterns to bring wires through. Your cylindrical prep, which is this part right here where the latch is, the latch and hub retractor, that's standard. But then you have these bolts up top. You might have wires that come through here. You might have something like this. You might have something completely different. And the folks at Schlage that designed this lock designed it to cover up all the holes left behind from different other manufacturers. So you can put this on and have a clean installation instead of needing to use a goof plate or a modification plate behind it. Um, so it nicely covers everything up and looks like a good, clean installation. There are some extra holes to drill for this, and we'll look at those in a second. Um, like I said, you can do a passage mode using a credential, and we'll program that in here in a little bit. Um, but it's very solidly built. The inside, it does take up a little bit on the inside because of the battery pack. And we'll go ahead and start taking this on here. Let's see. From the factory, I don't know, has anybody watching ever installed one of these? Just let me know in the chat. Um, but from the factory, everything comes in little bags of parts. And you'll see what I mean here in a minute. But as we start taking stuff off. But one of the features they include is the battery cover screw. It comes in either standard Phillips or a security Torx like this. I could not find my little security Torx driver, but you can use a small flathead screwdriver most of the time and back the screw out like that and remove it. We'll keep all these parts organized as best we can. Again, everything's made out of heavy duty materials. It's not going to get beat up that badly. We'll go ahead and remove the battery pack. You can see here that the batteries are retained by this plastic cover. And we'll pop these out. That plastic cover is also used by the Schlage AD, which is another electronic Schlage product. And there are different hole patterns for them. And you'll see that on close up for the guide here. I don't know if you can see exactly. This is AD in the middle and then CO towards this side. And just make sure that you put your holes in, or put your screws in the holes that say CO. Let's see, better now. Okay, cool. Thanks to it being the biggest, nothing else in the future will cover up after this. Nice way to lock a customer to a product. um, we've actually, we have had one customer request us to uninstall one of these. And the only reason why, there's your battery pack, just simply plugs in, 4 AA's. The only reason why is this is a basic, calm yourselves, kitties. Damn. It was getting warm in here, had to turn the heat down. The only reason why is because the CO100 does not have scheduling uh, like the alarm lock does. It is just a standalone keypad. Now, Schlage makes the CO200, which is the same footprint, but it does allow for scheduling multiple forms of credentials. So you can use like a key fob and a pin, or key fob and or pin, that sort of thing. But that's the only reason why we have ever had to uninstall one of these. And when we did, we did have to use a plate, and it turned out looking pretty decent, actually. Here, we'll remove this. I can show you guys the hole pattern on here. The biggest, like the time it takes the longest is making sure that you get all your hole patterns lined up. You can see there's already a few holes, and this is a factory made display stand from Allegion. So it's custom for this. So the next thing to do is to remove the inside lever. Jeez. Just use a pokey tool. There we go. Get that turned back around. The rose cover, and then you have your spring cage here. You have a couple short screws to hold those in. And just like any lever, if you over tighten those, then it will bind the inside lever, so you have to make sure to be careful with that. Also, you have the inside hub, and there's a little spring that's inside here that comes separate. It doesn't come in there, so you have to make sure that you put the spring in and you don't lose it. And then there's also the spindle. So we'll put all that right there so it stays together nicely. And then we have the through bolts for the latch portion. So basically the entire chassis assembly is held on by the two bolts that came out of the top, the battery case, and then the two through bolts here for the chassis assembly. When I install these in the field, I always use a manual screwdriver instead of my impact. Impact wrenches are good to get a start on it. Okay, now, almost forgot about this. If you see in here, see that little screw and there's the plate? That actually kind of holds things together as well for the latch assembly. So you need to remove that screw and plate. It just comes out like that. Keep those together so we know where it goes back later. And then that allows you to remove the outside assembly. Inside you can see the hub, that and that. And this spindle also comes out. Lovely Schlage factory goo, which actually lasts a while. Let's see here. Let's look. Yeah, Pocket Women, it is a nice display stand. The factory displays are always pretty cool when you can get them. Jay Locks NY, good morning. 3 inches of snow up there. Awesome. Like I was telling Dana in the chat earlier, we got up to 80 degrees the other day. Can't wait for lake weather. Anyway, so yeah, you can see the whole pattern there, and you know, kind of how it's spread out. Normally, you only have to drill these holes and this hole, which is for the wire. These two are for the through bolts. I believe that's for optional, or it was, no, this is for the door position sensor, which was not wired in on this one. It is installed, but it's not wired in. So you can have the door position sensor. So I forget what features that does, but I think it, I'm not really sure. I've never installed the door position sensor with one. But you can see normally you just drill these holes, that hole, and um, make sure that you have clearance for your through bolts if you have those. Uh, Major Manufacturing, which is a maker of jigs for drilling, they do have a CO100 jig, which also works for the CO200 and is marked out with all your holes. So basically, you clamp that on the door around your existing prep if you have it, and then you go through and just drill your holes. You do have to step them up because one is a let's see, I think this hole is actually 9/16, so a little over half an inch. Um, so you just drill it initially and then use a step bit to step it up. And another cool thing is there's enough wiggle room in with the footprint of this lock that you can have slightly larger holes. So if you're having difficulty lining everything up, then um, then you've got a little bit of wiggle room to be able to fine tune things. Um, let's see here. Yeah, David has. There are 9 holes on here, but you only need this one, this one, this one, and of course this one. I mean, that's kind of the main one there. To rehand these, basically you remove these 6 screws. I'm not going to rehand this one, but you remove these 6 screws on the back, and then there's some screws inside. You remove the outside lever, and there's like an internal spring cage, and you just flip that 180 degrees and then screw it all back in and reinstall your lever, and you're good to go. Um, if you're installing one of these, be sure right here. I don't know if you can see it, but there are 2 little triangles on the hub and then on the cover plate for the body. Make sure that those triangles are pointing at each other. If you have one going to 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock on the hub and is not lined up with the fixed one, then the mechanism will actually allow you to unlock it by lifting up on the lever, regardless of inputting the code. So make sure that you have those lined up. Um, once you have all that, then we're gonna put all this back together. Make sure my triangles are lined up. Gonna drop that in there. The spring for this is built into the main body, so you don't have to worry really about that spring coming out. And then you just feed the wire back through here. And they do give you, on the inside of the door, they do give you this little plastic wire guard. And the reason why they only do it for the inside is because you can see there the housing where the wire comes out of is built into that cover plate. So make sure, well, first off, I'm gonna do this. Make sure our wire is run through smoothly, like that. There we go. It comes through the door like so. We're going to take our plate, it helps hold our latch assembly together. Put that back together. And this is most definitely one of those locks where you need 3 hands to install it by yourself. Locksmiths, we grow extra hands, so you know. All right, make sure a spring cage goes on the right way. Go ahead and drop those screws. But before we do that, we need to take our hub assembly, drop that in there, drop in, make sure your spring is in there, and then drop in the spindle and assembled that on there with some screws. No, we don't do that. Y'all are laughing at me. Quit laughing at me. You're making me nervous. We got to put this on first. Kind of helps. Actually, really, really kind of helps. Otherwise, the damn thing won't stay to the door. But you have that plate, that screw, top and bottom. And it actually does show you on this plate. It's got top imprinted right there. You can put additional fixing screws there and there, depending on the application. But normally for the cylindrical, you just have to do this. They do make this in a mortise body, which is where it's got the mortise lock cassette, and also for an exit device trim. So on the inside of the door, you would have your exit device, and then on the outside, you would have the same keypad. Jay, the second large hole up here is, and I'm not sure why they did it on this display, but that hole, in some cases, they want you to run the wire through for a metal door. And maybe they did this hole so that you could reverse the handing on it, like for a classroom demonstration or something. I'm not sure. I will ask our Allegiant rep to get you a definitive answer. I will ask. Because honestly, I can't give you a good answer. If it's display, why would they put it there if it only mounts one way? All right. Now again, make sure that you have your spindle. Otherwise, you'll get this on here and not be able to operate the lever. Somebody may or may not have done that once before. And had to disassemble everything. Snug those down. Always test for latch retraction with your inside lever before you put your rose cap on. You have good latch retraction. So we can put the rose cap on. And it just twists and locks. And then normally I have to use a little screwdriver to push in the lever retainer, slam it home, and you're good to go there. So now the top part, that hole's big enough to run the wire through. Hold it up, line your mounting holes, take your through bolts, it takes a while. Like the very first one that I did by myself took me probably 2 hours between prepping the door and installing it, installing the lock out of the kit. Now I've got it down to a little bit less than an hour. That includes prepping the door for fresh installation. So it's like anything. The more you do it, the more you get used to it, and the easier it becomes. And then we're going to connect our battery pack. Just snaps together like that. Sits over here. This. Make sure your wires are all out of the way. Hold that there. Make sure that you put your batteries in before you get to this point. Again, somebody else might have done that before. And then we take battery holder screws. And again, line them up with the arrows that point for CO. And you'll see why in just a second. There we go. Trying to do this looking around so you guys can see what I'm doing. Hopefully. Get that tightened up. Okay, we got battery power. And then I always test it before I put this on, but I know that it works. So we're going to put this on, take our battery cover plate screw, and install that. Again, it comes with the option of either the security Torx or the standard Phillips. If you're putting this on an office, then I would do just a regular Phillips head. If you're putting it on, say, an outside gate or someplace where the public might have access to it, public being people who normally do not work in the building, then definitely put the security screw on there. That way somebody can't take it out. Let's see here. The Three Tumblers podcast, Tyler, the tall Tyler J. Thomas. More sawdust, of course. Let's see. Who did that? Well, his name begins with a T and ends with an M. So that'll kind of narrow it down a little bit. The more you do it, the longer you last. Yes, Jay. And eventually then you just get to the point where you don't care. Default combination on these is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 pound. Put your lever down for latch retraction. You're in. Always, when you do this, always tell your customer that they always have to hit pound after entering the code. I know on, I think the DL or the D2700 and 2800s, the alarm locks, you don't have to enter pound. You just put in your code and it'll let you in. With these, you do have to hit pound. And I forgot that because yesterday when I texted Jason because he's out of town, and I said, what'd you change the combination for on the CO display lock? And he's like, it should all be factory. I said, well, I tried 13579. And he said, did you push pound at the end of it? And I said, no, I didn't, but I did now and it worked. So yeah, always push the pound key after that. That is pound, not hashtag. Default programming code, which will not allow you to open the lock, but it will allow you to program it, is the reverse 97531 star, puts you into a program mode, and then you can go through a simple number sequence to program different, program your codes. There's a timeout, or you can just hit star a couple times. That is star, not asterisk. And it'll bring you out of programming mode. So, let's see here. Yep, Jay, it was Tom who did that. It's no pound, it's the AL button. Yes, there is an AL button. Um, there's a star on there, though. Got that right. Maybe I didn't mention it, but maybe that's why I got it right, but I'm still right on that. All right, so for programming, let's see, let's change. Let's go ahead and screw this up for the display in the shop. And Jason shows it. somebody and can't get it to unlock, so I come over. All right, first off, I mean, I can factory reset it because the door is open. Let me grab a sheet of paper here. And somebody give me a 5-digit programming code. That's not the default. Give me a 5-digit programming code. What in the world does AL mean or stand for? Alarm lock? Tyler? It's the AL button on an alarm lock product. It's their thing. Just like Twitter thinks they invented the hashtag. 69696. Who thinks I should listen to Tyler? All right. Somebody give me a between 3 and 8-digit unlock code. And then somebody give me I don't know. Let's see. I said 8-digit unlock code. Give me an 8-digit code to use to put it into passage mode. Or in Schlage's terminology is toggle credential, but it puts it into passage mode. We'll look at that. Okay. Dana, we'll go 389544 for unlock. And Pocket Women, we'll go with yours 18, 18, 18, 18 for passage. It's 4 18s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Okay. All right. So now, Rune, why do you think I got a piece of paper? So that I can write down what it is we're doing. No cylinder might as well be in passage mode. Yeah. Jay, I was saying earlier, you can order them less cylinder. It saves you about $25 or so. I think the default cylinder that comes with them, though, is actually either S123 or S145 keyway with a couple keys. You can get these with SFIC, LFIC, and FSIC, which would be your Schlage IC. And or just like this, where you can put a regular kick cylinder in there. All right, so we'll go to our programming instructions. All right, so our programming code, we're going to go into programming mode here. So we'll do our default 97531 star, and then 7 star, and then our new 5-digit programming code is 69696, and then star, wait for the light, 69696, star, wait for 2 blinks. There we go. Now that doesn't unlock it. It doesn't give us anything, but it'll let us go into programming mode. So we're going to do that next and create our normal use pin, which is what the instructions say. So 69696 star, and then 3 star, and then our unlock pin, which is 389544 star star. And then we can, from this point, we can enter another pin code to go in there for unlock, or if we're finished, we just press star, wait for it to quit blinking. Now I'll do the default, gives me a double red, but we'll do Dana's Fibonacci sequence here of 389544, and we've got it. Three, eight, nine. I just did it a second ago. There we go. And that went without doing a pound, which is interesting. Never seen it do that before. Might be a different firmware. Okay, cool. All right, now we're going to do a toggle credential, which is putting it into passage mode. So we'll go back into programming, 69696 star, and then we do 33 star, and then 191 star, and then let's see. Well, it can actually only be 3 to 6 digits for toggle, so we're going to do 181818 star star, and then we could actually put in another one, which we're not, so we'll just hit star and we're done. So there, you see that it's done, and that is still locked. It's out of programming mode, so we can do 181818, and it's now unlocked. We'll wait about 5 seconds. Still unlocked. Still unlocked. I'll check the chat. See. Okay. Still unlocked. So let's say that we're at the end of the day and we need to lock it back. So we do 181818. It flashes red. Now it's locked. And you have to do 389544. It's unlocked. And then you hear it click. Now it's relocked. So pretty, I mean, it's basic, but these are bulletproof locks. I mean, they're the only thing, and Schlage is aware of this, but the only issue with the CO100s that we have found and that others have found is that the keypads will wear out. In other words, the numbers and the finish off of these keypads will deteriorate, especially on exterior doors, or if they've been cleaned with chemicals. A lot of, since the pandemic, lots of people use chlorinated cleaning products or other really strong cleaning products to disinfect surfaces that are used, and that is just imagine what our podcast sounds like before I edit all this. Tyler does the same thing. Let's see. Ken underscore, good morning. Yes, I talked about it a little bit earlier. Major manufacturing does make a jig for it. And for I did not mention earlier, there are 2 jigs. There's one for cylindrical prep and one for mortise prep. The mortise body you actually have the two upper holes and then two lower installation holes. And go ahead and cut the center 2 1/8 hole because the through bolt posts stick out far enough. You really do need to go ahead and cut that. If you don't already have that in the door, just cut it on the exterior side. Um, but yes, they do have jigs from major manufacturing that clamp onto the door. So definitely have that. See which caliber. GK man, I have not tested that because the price of this lock is outside of my range to test how bulletproof these are. Uh, but I think Lockpicking Lawyer has enough money that he could probably afford to test that. So we should strike up a petition for Lockpicking Lawyer to buy one of these, install it, take it out to his range, and see what caliber it takes to make the bulletproofing fail. So that's basically the gist of it, folks. Enter your code, pull your lever. That's it. If the batteries go dead, use your key. Simple as that. Easy peasy. And even if you get it less cylinder, they do send you a cylinder uh, tailpiece kit. So depending on the cylinder that you have, you can put it in here, and whether it's Medico, Multi-Lock, Schlage C, hell, you could put a quickset kick cylinder in here for all they care, as long as it goes in. It's a standard key and lever cylinder, then you can put it in there. Again, all three formats of IC. Just make sure that you order it that way. Um, and yeah, they're pretty damn good. Let's see here. Don't tell LPL. Lowell, that's what I just said. We need to take up a collection. The mortise, boy, you need a jig for the bottom post screw holes. There is no forgiveness. Um, yeah, for the bottom through bolts on the mortise trim, you, eh, no, because I've installed them, and if you're off like just a 16th of an inch, you're okay to use a step bit and step it up to the next size, and still not have any holes showing from behind this. Um, there is a little forgiveness, and I'll tell you, I've installed probably in the nearly 2 years I've been working, I've installed probably between 50 and 70 of these. That's fresh installs, custom installs where the door looks like Swiss cheese under it. Um, so you've got a little wiggle room there. Jason, good morning. Hope hope you didn't get blown away by the storms down that way. We got a lot of strong wind last night, but fortunately not anything really severe. S&M, why would you pull one off a door? And I hear that from people. People either love these or they hate them. There was a locksmith at the NCLA meeting back in November, and he told me straight up that no matter what the issue is, if he sees a CO100 on a door, he tells his customer that it has to be replaced with a trilogy alarm lock. No questions. It does, and he told me, I said, why would you do that? I said, it's already prepped for one of these. Why wouldn't you install one? He said, I don't care. I do not install them, and I tell the customer that it has to be replaced with a trilogy. I'm like, but then you have to do cover-up plates because, I mean, you can see the size comparison here. you're gonna have holes in the wrong places, and he was adamant about it. And I've seen a few guys on Reddit say that they take these off and throw them away. Um, Again, we've never had one fail. And my boss was installing these since they came out. So there's some that were installed in 2013, 2014 that we've never been back to service other than maybe to rekey the cylinder that's in there. Or to replace the keypad, which replacing the keypad is kind of a pain in the ass because you have to do what I just did and take everything off the door and then take the cover plate off of this and then remove your electronics board and then remove the keypad membrane and then install the new one, put it back on. But these are pretty stout. Let's see here. Police and sheriff's department does. They get their own lockpick tools called a 12 gauge shotgun. Bosnia and Bill might even make an appearance for a range day with LPL, maybe. Let's see here. Ken underscore there with the, and you'll have to replay the video to see, but as long as you get the three, what I've found is as long for cylindrical prep, get the two through bolts on either side, and then your wiring hole, just bore that hole straight through. Just go straight through with it, and you'll be okay. Um, let's see. Must be a special knife when you can cut stuff and it goes on. Yeah, we're starting to get to that time of year here in North Carolina where we get all four seasons in the same day. Um, in the mornings, you turn your heat on because it's just too chilly, or at least in your car. You don't do it in your house, but in your car, you turn the heat on your way to work. And then in the mornings, it's kind of springtime and nice. And then in the afternoons, you're sweating your ass off. And then you get home in the evening and it's thunderstorm, and then it's 12 degrees again. So we get all four seasons. Yeah, we've not gotten any snow. Yeah, I mean, I like I said, my biggest pet peeve with the CO100 is that you cannot do scheduling like you can with the alarm lock. And this is the same price point as the 2700. Reliability and longevity, yeah, because I've replaced, well, several of the alarm locks that I've held up in demonstration over here and that I've got piled up in the junk pile over there. Uh, the manufacturing dates on those are all within like 5 or 6 years. Um, that's a very short time for a very large amount of money. I mean, you're paying basically, 100, $120 a year for it to last just a few years, and that's not acceptable to me. So I do wish that Schlage would incorporate scheduled passage times on this lock. I've told our Legion rep that, and he's like, "Well, the CO200 does it." Yeah, but the CO200 costs more. This lock could do it, and I'm pretty sure it could do it. Well, he did say that this one does not have an internal clock, so without an internal clock, it doesn't know what time it is for scheduling. They could put one in there. I know that. But that's like my only really big pet peeve. Um, but yeah, I mean they're good locks. Let's see here. It's Ted Thunder Snow. Awesome. Also had a business that had both locks and had more of the alarm locks, so they do their own code changes and wanted them all the same. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have a loose attic bar job at 11. Lowell, that is probably the best autocorrect ever in a chat. I will forever now refer to those as attic bars. Thank you. Of course, as I said in one of our podcast episodes, we call them exit devices here. Um, let's see. Yes, blue thread locker, blue Loctite, um, and if need be, drill straight through and sex bolt that thing onto the door. Um, it, you got to look at why it's loose. If it was threaded, if it was drilled and tapped for the through bolts, maybe those have come loose. Um, Hopefully it's something simple. If it's on a restaurant door, I, God, I hate restaurant doors. I really do. The back door to a restaurant kitchen, those are the absolute worst doors to ever work on. Ever. I hate them. I had one Thursday. One of the jobs I went to was kind of the same thing. They said we can't get it to lock. And I was pretty sure they had an exit device on there. The manager who called it in, she was like, "Well, no, it's just a handle." Um, and so I get there because it was the furthest away from the shop. It was like 32 miles away from the shop through Charlotte traffic. And I get there, and yes, the outside trim was lever trim. The inside was an exit device. The reason why it wouldn't work is the latch return spring was laying in pieces in there when I took the cover off. But restaurant kitchen back doors are just, I hate working on those. They're so nasty. There's so many restaurants. When I was a cop, there was a reason why there were certain restaurants I didn't eat at, especially if somebody arrested somebody who worked there, or you walk in, you recognize who the cook is, and you just smile, wave, say, "Hey, hope y'all are having a great evening." You turn around and walk right back out and go someplace else. Now, as a locksmith, being back there in the kitchen, um, yeah, there's some restaurants I just don't want to go to now. If it's not your account, use the red antic. An antic bar. Attic bar. Okay, it's a church. Um, Probably a Von Duprin 88, maybe. Um, Maybe a wooden door. I don't know. Let us know, Lowell. Tell us. You'll have to update us. And yeah, like Jay said, if slow the door closer down if you need to. Should be a minimum of 6 to 8 seconds from fully open to fully closed. Did a Perkins main doors paddle exit device, and it was a broken spring. Yeah. One of these days when I get a display stand that I can do some of the Adams Right stuff on here, um, I'm going to bring that in and do a paddle operator and Adams Right dead latch and all that cool stuff. I've got a plan for it this year. I just have to get the display. Um, we may have one in the shop somewhere, but I'm not completely sure. If not, we've got an old door out out behind the shop, so I may have to cut that apart. It's younger, the kids never washed the tomatoes; they just sliced it and served it. Yeah, that's not the bad part. I mean, the bad part about restaurant kitchen doors is it's just greasy. Um, whenever restaurants need new safes and I sell them a new safe and installation, depending on how their old safe is bolted down, I charge them a lot more because a lot of times back there they'll have the desk built right over the top of the safe. And so you either have to disassemble the built-in desk to get the safe out, or you have to. There's a lot of cutting, a lot of die grinding, and you're on a greasy floor, and it's really, really nasty. So whenever you have to work on the floor, like actually down in the floor of a restaurant kitchen, take your cardboard boxes, break them down, and then you can have something disposable to kneel on that you don't soak up the grease in your pants. I learned that lesson the hard way too. Gumby, you made it. Finally. Finally you showed up. Yes, you still have a job here. Let's see. Yeah, Rune, we have that here too. The sanitation scores, and those do have to be clearly posted at the front of the restaurant. And if it's a fast food restaurant, they have to be posted in the drive-through windows. But yeah, we have the same thing here. Uh, it's just the nature of it. And I'm not saying that all the kitchens are nasty, but you do have grease that comes into the floor. And then you have, the cleaning, the mop solution. I don't care what you put in mop water, how thorough you are. Mop water's not going to get all the grease out. It's not. And when speaking with safes, a lot of that mop water goes under the safe, but it never comes out. That's why when I install them, I try to use either washers or some sort of shim to keep them elevated just a little bit so that water can drain back out in case if I have to uh, go back to that safe. Jason, all right, little Frank just showed up. Oh, yes, give little Frank lots of pets from this crowd. Thank you for stopping by. Let's see here. It's not a safe at rest. It's a muck box. God, ain't that the truth? Jay, I'll send you a picture of the. Um, I'll send you a picture of the one that really sticks out in my mind. Tyler Newhouse. Just now, I just thought of it. Last week, you sent me an email, and you had a phone number in that email, and I texted you a reply or some information to that phone number. I don't know if you received it because I never got a reply from you, but tell me if I need to resend you that information uh, in the email. I just now thought of that. I've been meaning all week to get with you about that. So let me know, please, while we're here. Let's see. If you like to eat at restaurants, never look in the kitchen. Yep. Yeah, and Rune James is right. They are infrequent. I think in North Carolina, my state, they do I want to say every quarter, but it may be closer to every 6 months. And a lot can change in 6 months. Firefighter EMT Rule 55. Never kneel next to a person that has been on the ground for more than 1 hour. Yep. Yep. Done that too. Let's see here. Lockpicking's gal, good morning. Thank you. See, I'll send you a video of the roach house. Shoo. I've been in a few of those um, with the old job. Let's see. Um, oh, pocket women. Sorry, I didn't realize what was wrong with your cat. I saw something earlier. I'll have to check out your channel and get your updates. That is not good. Um, my dog Rex, growing up, my mom and dad thought that she was going to palliative care. I came in and took her to the vet, and the vet was amazing. The same vet that is taking care of her and taking care of, still takes care of mom and dad's dogs that they have now and cats. Um, she actually gave Rex some medication and a course of therapy, and Rex lived another year when we all thought that she wasn't going to live another day. So, you know, I'll have to see your update though. Let's see. Hmm, that sucks that your wife is ill as well. It's no fun. Stressful, but I'm glad that you made it, Pocket Women. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Always. Jay, if you see one roach, call someone else. Yeah, I I had one that I should a job as a locksmith that I should have walked away from. It was a rekey for an eviction. Police were there. The tenants were in the process of removing their belongings while I was there, and uh, they had installed an electronic deadbolt. The whole place was nasty. Like there were three doors that I refused to touch because the property owner, she took me back through the house and said, you know, there's a lock on that door and a lock on that door. And I looked in the room and I said, I am not walking into those rooms. I don't care. I will do this one door. And I did the one door. And it was an electronic deadbolt. And she was like, well, can you reprogram it? And I said, it was a Chinese type electronic deadbolt. Um, so no instructions on it, no name, no nothing like that. And I said, I will key it to a physical key and I will give you that key and I will disable it. And so what I did is snip the wires, put it back together with a new key. That's all I did. Um, let's see here. You keep roaches in it. What? Jane, no, I do not have WhatsApp. I am on Facebook, but I do not have WhatsApp. Ugh, Ken underscore, that's nasty. Let's see. That's awesome. Lockpicking's gal. Feeders for your pet. What pet is that? Dana, what pet do you have that eats roaches? Because I mean, yeah, I don't have roaches in my house. Um, I had a few when I first moved in, but got rid of them, and haven't had any since. I tell you, I went on a I don't know if I should be telling this story here. This may venture into podcast level content. Um, Last year, I was making a social call to the residence of a guy that I had met online. And I walked in, and the house was in disarray, which no judgment from me. My house is in disarray. You guys can see how my bench is behind me. But it's not nasty. And I walked in, and uh, there were a few small roaches on the wall. And after some polite conversation, I decided to excuse myself from that. Um, that was that was not a good location. Um, hey, very nice guy. He came over to my house a few times. Um, did not bring any roaches with him, but I really didn't ever go back there. So anyway, turtles eat roaches. Oh, okay, you got a box turtle. Awesome. Super worms, mealworms, and night crawlers. Cool. I follow a turtle account on Twitter, McKinley Turtle. He's pretty cool. Um, all right. Well, kind of BS'd around for like the last 10 minutes. Anybody have any final questions about the CO100 before we start wrapping it up? Um, if you do have questions about it, feel free to send me an email or a text or whatever. If you have one on a job and you get stuck about it, just holler at me and um, I'll try to help you best I can. Like I said, I've done like probably about 50, between 50 and 60, 70-ish of these in 2 years. We really push them. We keep about four in stock for all, just to have because we install them a lot. Um, Lowell has to go do an Impala key. More power to you. I hate. Yeah, I don't want to ever do auto. Let's see. Been to a carpentry job where roaches were living in the lock. Holy crap. Ugh. Yeah, Rune, my house is cluttered, but it is not nasty. There's a difference between messy, dirty, and nasty. And I'm pretty sure that's a Southeast US thing, but yeah. Took a train from Ohio to Texas. Tiniest kitchen. Yeah. LPG, God, my ex and I took a train from Charlotte to DC, and it was we did a round trip up there. Actually, went up there just the two of us from here, and it left in the middle of the night, so you didn't have actual dining, and even the snack car wasn't even open, which is disappointing. Um, but we did get breakfast in the morning right before arriving in DC. It's excellent food. Unfortunately, I think they quit cooking food on Amtrak now. Um, and then the return trip, we came back with uh, a friend of mine who was in DC on business, and the three of us came back, and we had dinner in the dining car, and that was good food. Yeah, James, it's been, well, July will be 2 years. So just shy of 2 years. Time does fly, that's for sure. Alrighty, folks. Well, I guess we are gonna wrap it up. because I'm sure Tyler's already jumped out of here. He's doing other stuff. Got to get ready for the podcast. He, Jeff, and I are going to be recording. We are in the middle of a trilogy of sorts, and as they say, great trilogies come in threes. So we're going to record the final part of that today. I think the last episode that came out was on site surveys. Can't remember if that's correct or not because we record several episodes out. Um, so like whatever episode, typically, except for the first few, that were published within a day or so of being recorded. Ever since then, we've been about a week or two out from episode publication. But we really enjoyed the listenings. We would love to hear feedback on that. On the podcast, there's all kinds of contact information for the podcast specifically. Hope that you listen to it. It makes, if you're one of those people who needs a distracting droning noise in the background while you do work, we are perfect for that. If you need corny jokes and eighth grade humor, we are also perfect for that. So please tune in to the Three Tumblers podcast whenever you get a chance. Doesn't have to be today. Doesn't have to be tomorrow. If you don't have any of the regular podcast apps like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, we're on Transistor FM. I think we might be on Amazon Podcasts. Go over to Tyler's former channel, which is now retitled The Three Tumblers. And he normally uploads the new episodes about three to 4 days after they come out on the podcast apps. So just keep that in mind. But we really enjoy it. We enjoy recording the podcast. If you listen, give us a shout out somewhere and spread the word to other locksmiths. Let's see here. Let's do big tip, and the guy upgraded us to the biggest room. LPG, that's awesome. Ken underscore would like to see my EDC tool bag for locksmithing. Okay. I've done one video on that, but my tool bag at work has changed significantly since then. So I will see about bringing that in and showing some updates. That's a good suggestion. Yeah, Lowell, I did do it back in July, but like I said, things have changed, so I may do that again. I have to let go of old pizza boxes, fit lock stuff. Let's see. File is too big to send. Okay. Jay, you could email it to me, or I'll text you when I get done because my phone is my camera, so I can't text right now. But I will. I'll hit you up. Alrighty. All right. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. I don't do cheesy credits like some podcasts do, but I will wish each and every one of you a happy weekend, a happy Saturday. I hope that that your week is as stress-free as it could possibly be. And if you have any questions, as always, just hit me up. If you just want to chat, hit me up. But anyway, y'all, I really, really do appreciate you watching these lives. I enjoy doing stuff like this. Got a couple other ideas for things coming up. I think that one thing I want to do is build build a demo access control system if I can. May have to talk with a couple of our distributors, but there is there are a couple other Schlage products that we install that I would like to demo. So I will try to do that as well and show you guys some options and kind of how they go together and come apart. Anyway, y'all, appreciate it. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, stay out of trouble if you can help it. Sometimes. No, I can't sometimes. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time. Thank you.